as we take a look again at a little 10 minutes of morning calm and try to get something that can center our day, give us a little food for thought as we move through our days together. And today we're looking at is an interesting little story, and it's part of the geography of Abram's journey towards the promised land. And we're at a part in the story where he comes to this valley, and this valley of Siddim was pit after pit. In other words, think of these tar pits after tar pits after tar pits. Now, there's beautiful spiritual relevance to that, and I think you can pick it up pretty quickly, right? Like, what is it about a tar pit? Like, why would it be talking about that? Well, obviously, it's talking about that stuckness. When there's these things out there that we just get stuck in, and they're very, very tempting. I was listening to a podcast, and we're talking about the La Brea. I don't know if that's the right way to say it. The Brea tar pits out in California. And they found, it's fascinating because they have found literally thousands of animals within these tar pits. And the way they sort of imagined that it happened, and why it kept on collecting animals over time is some animal would get stuck in there, another predator would see that animal, come out and try to attack that animal, thinking easy prey, get stuck, that cycle just continuing over and over again. So you end up with thousands of animals getting stuck in that. And I think, boy, that is human nature, right? We just get stuck, and we know exactly where it is. We know exactly what those temptations are, and yet we will continually go to them. And that's a big part of our spiritual journey, is how do we stay out of those sticky, stuck places? It's not easy to do. I know, as I have a lot of admiration for 12-step programs, and they help a lot of people. And with 12-step programs, there's this idea of keeping your side of the street clean and just worrying about your side of the street. I love that idea, because so much getting stuck in a tar pit is when we go over onto the other side of the street, go over into someone else's business and believe that we can solve that. And it tends to be highly dramatic. It tends to be really, really, caustic, and it tends to be really sticky. It's hard to get out of it. It's hard to disengage out of those things. I know for me, I used to visualize these things as got involved with Al-Anon, and I used to visualize these things kind of as these bad bars along the way. And I knew that if I went into that quote unquote bar, and here I'm talking figurative, not literally, that what would happen is I would get stuck, because there was just stuff in there that I was going to start ruminating on. There was dramas I'd be invited into. And again, they're all of my own making. That's not putting it on other people. And it just would lead to stuckness. And that's why, again, that the power of just like, oh, I just have to keep my side of the street clean. I can let the other side go because it's none of my business, and I don't have any control over that anyways. And if I do veer into their lane, I'm just going to find myself stuck in a hot second. Are there times to cross over? Well, obviously, like emergency situations, yes. But this is we're talking a different ball game here. We're talking about when we're willingly really trying to control, manipulate, get in other people's business. That is a tar pit extraordinaire, and one we are much better off sort of pulling back from. A dear friend of mine, Bishop Tom Klein, uses this phrase all the time, and it's from Rabbi Thomas Friedman. And that's the idea of trying to continue to be an unanxious presence. So what's an unanxious presence? An unanxious presence kind of moves away. It keeps in its lane. Quoting another person, Father Richard Rohr said, the most effective agents of change are where we are living on the outside of the inside. So it's like we're outside of all that drama, and we see all that stuff happening, and we're on the edge of it, because that's what people are looking for, actually. And they may not articulate it. And certainly media, it's not clickbait stuff. So you won't see it much supported with media stuff. But it's like, I'm going to keep in my lane. I'm going to do what I'm supposed to do. I'm going to be a loving person, and that's it. That's sum total of what I'm after. And I'm not going to get stuck in these tar pits. You know what they are. And boy, wouldn't it be fun to just just to share with someone, yep, this is where I absolutely know I'm going to get stuck. As soon as I get sucked into that conversation, woo, I'm off and I get stuck and there's nothing good there and no one gets out alive, figuratively, obviously. And that's a place where I think we can find a lot of spiritual growth, is just remembering staying in our lane. That's simple. Keep your side of the street clean. Do the next right thing. Keep it pretty simple. Simple isn't easy, but simple makes a lot of sense. So I hope that makes sense to you, my friends. And what we're going to do now is we're going to do a little meditation, a little prayer, a little blessing. I will not be answering comments live today. I'll be doing that online in written form. So feel free to leave them and I will leave a little response, in short order. So with that, friends, let's get a little breath. And listen to the bell. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know that I. Be still and know that. Be still and know. Be still and. Be still. Be. Our Father, who art in the heavens, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, as in heaven, so upon the earth. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we also forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Amen. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you and be grateful and gracious unto you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you, bring you peace, and bring you home. Amen. All right, dear friends, God bless. Take care. Like our content? It's funded by viewers like you. Please consider becoming a sustaining supporter